For half a century, one organization has served as both a powerful voice for millions and a crucial bridge to Italy. But as the National Italian American Foundation, or NIAF, celebrates this huge anniversary, it's also facing a whole new world of challenges. So, let's explore its journey through the eyes of its new chairman, John Calvelli. And that quote right there, it's not just some line from a speech, it's really the heart of this whole story. Calvelli's own immigrant experience is the lens he's using to look at the next 50 years of leadership, and honestly, that's where we need to start. Because to really get where NIAF is going, we first have to understand where its new leader comes from. His personal story is kind of like a miniature version of the entire community's journey. His family's story is one that so many people can relate to, this back and forth across the Atlantic. They came from a small town in Calabria, but their journey wasn't just a one-way trip. It was this fluid life, lived in that space right between two different worlds. You have to pay attention to this term, birds of passage. It just perfectly captures that feeling of never fully leaving your home behind. And Calvelli's family lived this, coming to America, going back to Italy, and then coming back to America again, weaving this incredible connection across generations and oceans. And this is where the story gets really powerful. Just try to picture this. His mother arrives in upstate New York right after World War II. In her little one-room schoolhouse, she's not just with other Italian kids. She's with Jewish children who had literally survived the Holocaust. I mean, imagine that scene. Together, all these kids are figuring out what it means to be American, building a brand new life from the ashes of the old world. You see? It's personal histories just like that one that show you exactly why an organization like NAIF was so needed to speak for millions of people with similar stories, which brings us to its founding mission. So the year is 1975. The Italian-American community realized it needed a unified, powerful voice on the national stage. And so, NIAF was born to be that voice. NIAF was really built on three core pillars. First, to be a strong voice in Washington. Second, to be that living, breathing bridge between the US and Italy. And third, to protect the community's heritage while building for the future. And you know what? 50 years later, that mission is still exactly the same. What's really interesting is how NIAF's role has adapted over time. Back in the 70s, during the Cold War, the big focus was on supporting Italy as a key democratic ally. Fast forward to today, and Italy is a leader in the G7, a major global player, and NIAF's work has evolved right along with it. But, protecting a legacy isn't just about looking backward. It's about tackling the really complicated issues we're facing today. So how is NIAF staying relevant and fighting for its community right now? Well, one of the most urgent issues on the table today has to do with some proposed changes to Italy's dual citizenship laws. And believe me, this isn't just some boring, bureaucratic fight. For millions of people, this hits at the very core of who they are. The thing is, there are two sides to this. On one hand, the Italian government has a genuine problem. The system is totally swamped with applications, creating these massive backlogs. But then, on the other hand, you have thousands of people who've spent years of their lives and their savings on this process, only to be told the rules might just change overnight. You can see why it feels so incredibly unfair to them. So what's NIAF's game plan? It's really a delicate diplomatic dance. They're talking to U.S. lawmakers about how this impacts American citizens, they're engaging directly with politicians in Rome, and they're keeping a constant line of communication open with the Italian embassy. The goal is pretty clear. Make sure the community's concerns are heard, while also respecting that at the end of the day, this is Italy's decision. Another really hot-button issue is the intense debate over Christopher Columbus. Now, for Calvelli, this isn't about defending one guy. It's about defending Italian-American heritage. He basically makes a four-part argument. First, that it's a day of pride. Second, you have to look at a 15th century figure in historical context. Third, that groups like the KKK actually targeted Columbus as an anti-immigrant symbol. And finally, that these statues were often paid for by immigrants themselves as a way of saying, hey, we belong here too. Okay, so with all these modern challenges, how is Chairman Calvelli planning to guide NIAF into its next chapter? He's actually laid out a pretty clear vision to make sure the organization is just as important for the next 50 years as it was for the first. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of his entire philosophy. For him, heritage isn't some old thing you put in a museum. It's the glue that holds the community together. And his mission is to use that powerful bond to build a path into the future. So his plan really comes down to three big things. Number one, develop the next generation of leaders.
Number 2, actively promote the language and culture so they don't get lost. And number 3, make sure the organization is financially solid enough to keep its mission going for decades to come. But he's also really clear that this is not a one-man show. This proverb is basically his call to action for the whole community. It's a reminder that real, lasting progress only happens when everyone works together. It's all about building on the last 50 years as a team.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. I mean, yes, this is the story of NIAF and the Italian-American community, but the central question here is universal, isn't it? For any group, any culture, how do you truly honor your past while also building a future that's dynamic, relevant, and thriving?